So we go again, and we go again at Arsenal on Monday night. Not really the easiest game for us to go into after performing so badly against Sheffield United, and the backlash is really on now against Steve Bruce. What kind of team will he put out? What kind of tactics will he play? Who knows? This is the Toon Review. Hi everyone and welcome to the Toon Review. I'm Paul. First of all, I'd just like to say a massive thank you very much to everyone for subscribing. I've had a huge intake of subscribers in the last couple of weeks. Honestly, you have no idea what that means. I'm so happy that the channel is growing. So please, if you are new to the channel, do hit the subscription button. Lots of great videos on here as well as live shows. So if you want to have a look back at previous videos, do have a look and see what you think. If you like what you see, please subscribe. Also, if you like the video today, do hit the like button because that really does help me build the channel. Moving on to Monday night, we take on Arsenal, who are not exactly in brilliant form themselves. We played them obviously last week in the FA Cup, which was a very different team to what they'll put out in the league. Last night they were in action again, and they took on Crystal Palace at the Emirates and only came away with a 0-0 draw. That for me gives us a little bit of belief, a little bit of hope going into the game that we can get at Arsenal and try and get something from the game. Now, this all depends on what kind of team Steve Bruce decides to put out and how attacking he goes. Now, Steve Bruce and attacking in the same sentence, it very rarely happens, doesn't it? So we're not sure. If it were me, then obviously I would try and look to break Arsenal. Their confidence is cagey to say the least at the minute, especially after last night, failing to score and failing to beat Crystal Palace. That will be a huge disappointment to them, especially the way they've played in the last few Premier League games, picking up points. They currently lie 11th in the Premier League on 24 points. We are on 19 points. 5 points behind, are we looking up or are we looking over our shoulders? I think we're looking over our shoulders rather than looking up. Sheffield United was a huge crushing defeat for Newcastle without a shadow of a doubt. Not just for the players but for the fans. And to hear Steve Bruce's excuses again after the game really did rile me up the wrong way. And he mentioned the sending off and things like that. It had nothing to do with anything like that. As I said in my review, we played poorly from the word go. We weren't at the races. He played 8 defensive players and 2 forward attacking players. There was no chance in hell that we were going to create much or even score many goals. Now we're playing Arsenal away. I just have a feeling that Steve Bruce is going to be the same. He's going to be terrified to put any attacking players on the pitch. But if he's learned anything from the reaction to this game at Sheffield United, he has to try. Whether it comes off, if it pays off or not, he's got to try. And that's the most important thing for me, is Steve Bruce has to look at this and say, right, it went completely wrong against Sheffield United. I tried going too defensive. Let's try something different and come away with something from the game. I don't want to hear him talk in his press conference about how good Arsenal are, what a great manager Arteta is, what a great setup they've got, what they've been magnificent, all of this kind of crap that he does before games. Bigging the opposition up, because that really does my head in now. How about turning around and bigging your own players up? Telling the fans what you plan to do when you go to the Emirates. Telling the fans that we're going there to get something. We're going to challenge them, we're going to get stuck in, and we're going to come away with something. Be positive. But then again, I've said this on every preview video I've done for the last few weeks. I've said this about Steve Bruce in his press conferences. How about coming out and saying that we are going to do this, we are going to do that, and not what the opposition are or are going to do during the game? It doesn't work. It doesn't motivate the players, and it certainly doesn't motivate the supporters. Now, for me, we've got to go for at the back on Monday. We simply have to. This 5 at the back system that he likes playing, it just doesn't bloody work. And if he hasn't learnt anything from Sheffield United, then he needs to be fired. We know we don't want Steve Bruce. We know he has to be sacked. He can't go on like this. But he's going to be in charge against Arsenal. That's the bottom line. Now, whether he's in charge for the next 3 games, 2 games, 1 game, it doesn't matter. He's got to try something new to try and save his job, if indeed he wants to stay in the job. So for me, the start of his rebuild has to be 4 at the back. And he may see it as risky because it's Arsenal, decent attacking side, but they are vulnerable. And it has proved Crystal Palace matched them last night. Arsenal had a lot of possession, but didn't manage to break them down. Now, hopefully we can go into this game and Steve Bruce might think, right, we'll go 4 at the back, but we'll play a couple of defensive midfielders. I wouldn't mind that. That's fine by me. We're covering off Arsenal's threat, but we also have attacking players on the pitch, more so than we did against Sheffield United. So for me, I'd go Darlow in goal. Right back is a questionable one because I don't know where Manquillo is. Nobody said anything about Manquillo. Nobody seems to know where he's gone. For me, he was our best right back in the early stages of the season, but since then he seems to have vanished into thin air. So I'd probably stick with Yedlin. I wouldn't play Emil Kraft because Tini ripped him a new one in the FA Cup, and Tini was rested last night. Suspicions he might be injured. I have a feeling he'll be on the pitch on Monday night. So I don't want him to face Emil Kraft, not at all. We need pace, and Yedlin's got the pace to keep up with him. Centre-backs, I'd go with a straight 2 of Fernandes and Clark. Again, Lascelles wasn't involved against Sheffield United, shouldn't have been involved in the FA Cup. He's not fit yet, so for me, no Lascelles. Shah on the bench, obviously. Left back, I'd go for Dummett. Simply because it's a left back. We're not playing wing back if we go for a 4. So I'd be happy to see Dummett stay at left back. If we move into the middle, I want to go a 4-2-3-1 against Arsenal. Therefore, I want Hayden and Matty Longstaff in the middle. People have talked about Shelvey and the creativity and that we have nothing coming from midfield. But we know Matty can get forward. We know Matty can score a goal or 2. So can Isaac Hayden. Isaac Hayden can get forward. He's got a good shot on him. We can utilise those 2 in a defensive and an attacking mindset. And that's what he's got to do. I think Matty was incredibly unlucky to miss out against Sheffield United. For all my world, I do not know why Hendrick and his brother Sean were ahead of him. But nevertheless, that game has been and gone now. So we have to look forward. And if we're going to look forward in a positive manner, then surely Matty and Isaac Hayden go in the middle. On the right-hand side, I'd go Jacob Murphy. Now, a lot of people have different opinions on Jacob Murphy. For me, I think he's been excellent this season. I think he's a workhorse as well. And I think he provides brilliant crosses. He can cross the ball on a sixpence. He doesn't have to take a man on. He can curl the ball in and curl it away from the keeper. And that's the kind of service that Callum Wilson will thrive on and that we've got to provide. We simply have to provide that kind of service to him. So, for me, he starts on the right. Number 10 role, I want to see Miggy in a number 10 role. We have to play Miggy in number 10. He's got to be able to give him the chance to utilise his skills in the position that we know he can play. If we look back, like I've said before, to the start of last year in the FA Cup and things like that, he was scoring goals. The West Brom away game, we were all there. We were all just going crazy because he was combining with St Maximin brilliantly. It was excellent football, and Miggy had a smile on his face. I want to see Miggy with a smile on his face, running at defenders and causing them trouble. Now, the left-hand side is going to be a problem here because obviously Fraser is suspended. We've now got Joe Linton, who is bang out of form and has really never been in form since he's come to the club. Matt Ritchie, do we start with him on the left-hand side? Or do we start Young Anderson? Now, for me, I would give Young Anderson a shot because he proved when he came on at the Emirates in the FA Cup that he wasn't overawed by the situation. He had some lovely touches of the ball. His head's right in the game, and he's young and hungry, and he wants to do well. That's the kind of player that we need in the team right now. So I would play him, not even think about it. I'd put him in and have Ritchie and Joe Linton on the bench, but start Young Anderson. Let's see what this kid can do. Let's have a player on the pitch who's willing to run at a defender. And obviously up front, Callum Wilson. Now, it's very important that we start providing him with opportunities, because the man is getting frustrated as time and time goes by. You know, we saw it against Sheffield United. He started giving silly little fouls away, and he started to get annoyed and upset with himself and upset with the tactics. You could clearly see it. Now, that 11 for me is good enough to challenge Arsenal and give them a game, providing the energy and the effort is there. We know that the players aren't particularly keen on playing for Steve Bruce. I think it's quite obvious by their facial expressions and the way they're playing on the pitch at the minute. But what I want to say to the players is, play for the fans. Please play for the fans. Try and get something, because there's thousands and thousands of Newcastle fans watching these games just totally deflated. You know, we know that the fan base has never been this deflated before. So please, for the love of God, players, do it for the fans. Not for your manager, because he's just not bothered. He's inept. And I think the senior players in the team already know this. But it's important for the fans that we see a performance. Now, if we go to the Emirates on Monday and we put 110% in, we've done all we can to get everything out of the game, but we lose, hey, I'll clap the players off. I've said that before. You know, if we lose the game, fine. But as long as I see some effort on the pitch, some real belief that we can at least try and get something, go at them from the off, get stuck into them. We know by the second half in the FA Cup, they don't like being hurried. They don't like being hassled like we did. So why not do that from the first minute of the game on Monday night? Go at them from the start. That's what we need to do. That's what will impress the fans. Seeing some real belief in the players that they want to win the game. You know, if Steve Bruce sends them out all defensive, then surely for me, the senior players have got to turn around and say, no, enough's enough, Steve. We cannot keep playing like this. We cannot keep defending for 90 minutes. We are getting nothing out of these games, and we are getting nothing as players. We are ambitious players. We want to do well. We want to win games for this club. So let's see something from the players that actually, you know, sends out signals to the fans that that's what they want. Because for me, looking at Arsenal last night, and they are a team that we can get at. I think the Arsenal fans know that as well. You know, listening to AFTV and stuff like that after the game last night. You know, they had a lot of possession. They were okay, but they weren't good enough to beat Crystal Palace. They didn't take the chances, and they put quite a strong team out. So whether it's a similar sort of team, we can get at them. If Palace can do it, why can't Newcastle? You know, and I know I'm sounding a bit too optimistic here given the way we've played. But you know what? We've got to try and be. Because if we don't have optimism as Newcastle fans at the minute, we've got nothing. You know, we really have nothing to go on. And 90% of the Newcastle fan base, certainly from what I've seen on social media, are completely deflated. Absolutely deflated. Nothing to look forward to. So all I'm trying to say is, let's try and have a little bit of optimism that the players might go out there and do something different for once. I'm not convinced Steve Bruce will have learnt anything from Sheffield United, because he has blinkers on when it comes to his own tactics and the way he plays. He believes that, you know, we're doing okay, we're progressing, etc., etc. We all know we're not. It's a pipe dream for Steve Bruce. That's what he thinks is going on. He lives in this surreal world with his little sort of, you know, his coaching staff, and stand on the sidelines, and he thinks, well, I'm going to pout a bit more here and look like a real man. No, Steve, you don't. You look an idiot. You look clueless. Shout at your players. Look like you want them to do something instead of just pointing and saying, pass back, pass back. Christ almighty, man. But anyway, I'm hopeful that we can go there and put on a performance. And like I say, if I see some workmanship, I see some effort, I see some passion, and we still lose the game, then fair enough. But if we go down to the Emirates on Monday and just bend over and say, right, Arsenal, whoop our arses again, I'll be devastated. I'll be so angry. Because after seeing that dreadful display against Sheffield United, the one thing that we want to see as Newcastle United fans is a bit of effort, is a bit of determination to put things right after that shocking display. Because as much as we shout at Steve Bruce, the players have got to take a little bit of responsibility as well. Yes, they're set out to defend. I understand that. But the players have got to turn around now and say, right, enough's enough. We need to do this for the fans. Let's go out there and win this game. Or at least try and win the game. You know, Burnley's been to Arsenal and won. Wolves have been to Arsenal and won. There's teams this season gone down to the Emirates that weren't expected to win and have come away with the 3 points. Why can't Newcastle? Steve Bruce is the reason why Newcastle can't, but I'm hopeful. You know, I'm optimistic. I'm going to say this. I think we can get something. I really do. We can get something from this game because we've got the talent in the team to do it. It's Steve Bruce who needs to utilise that talent in the team. But, you know, like I say, I don't know how long this man's got left in charge of Newcastle. We'll soon see. But anyway, that's my team selection. That's how I think the game will go. That's what I think we should do. Whether we do or not is a different kettle of fish come Monday night. We'll soon see. I'll be back with a live show on, obviously, Tuesday night. It'll be the Four Horsemen of the Toon with me, Sharky, Peely Proudlock and John Sinclair. Obviously on the Tuesday night now because we're playing on Monday night. I'll be doing my review of the game. It may be Monday night, it may be Tuesday morning that comes out, so keep an eye on Twitter for the link for that. I'll be appearing on a couple of shows over the weekend, so I'll retweet those links out if you want to join me on those shows. And a lot to look forward to. So enjoy your weekend, guys. Have a good time wherever you are. I know it's difficult at the minute, but do be safe. How are the lads on Monday? Let's get 3 points, or at least work and passion and effort for that black and white shirt. How are the lads? Take care, and I'll see you next time. Be strong. Be strong.